Are you looking at the insights on your social media and wondering what you're doing wrong and if you should just quit the whole thing? Well, this episode is for you. We're going to talk about the mindset you need to have to keep your spirits high when your social media is low. Welcome to the Brand Bridge, the podcast that's all about branding, entrepreneurship, faith, mindset, all the things that you need to build a compromise-free brand. My name is Melissa, and today I actually have a question from one of my clients, and she said this would be a great podcast episode. So I'm going to get my book here because the question's here, and it says, what is the best mindset when you're just starting out and it's very quiet on social media? How do you keep your spirits high? And I'm also going to talk about just the different expectations on each platform as well, or the major ones that I use that I know about. This is such a great question because when you're either pivoting or you're rebranding, or even if you're just starting, when you start showing up online, it could be very slow, right? You could be posting, you could be taking the time to schedule, to create, to do all of these things, and then crickets, right? You're not getting any engagement, you're not getting any feedback, you're not really getting much. So you're wondering in your mind, is it working? Are people listening? Are people watching? And it can really play with how you are feeling about your business, or even if you're doing the right thing. It's really hard when you're first starting and you're not getting much back. So we're going to talk about the mindset that you need to have for this when these times are there and when they're coming or when you're experiencing them. First of all, let's talk about your business and your brand itself. When you feel really aligned, when you feel like you're really on track, when you feel like, oh, this is it, you feel comfortable with your messaging, you feel comfortable with what your message is and who you're trying to reach, when you get that alignment, I feel like the alignment comes and then ambition comes. So, ambition, I believe, I've been talking about this with a couple people lately, but I believe that ambition isn't about where you want to go, but how you want to get there. And so when you become aligned, then it's like, all of a sudden that destination that you have in your mind, you see it, and now you're not walking, you're running, you're excited, right? So when you feel aligned, you get this excitement, you get more ambitious. You're like, yes, I finally feel good, right? Like I'm doing the right thing. And so when you get online and then you start posting, you're doing videos, you're doing other types of content, and you're not getting that immediate feedback, it could it could really play a number on your mind, and it can really play a number on your heart in some ways, because you feel like, well, I know this is it. I know I'm meant to do this. I know I'm meant to reach these particular people. So what's happening? The thing about social media and all social media, any social media platform, it takes time. It takes time for the different algorithms to figure out, okay, who are you? What are you talking about? What are you doing? And that's why your message and your messaging is so important. So that's why you hear in marketing a lot that you need to be consistent with your message. It's not only for the benefit of the people that you're trying to reach and the clients that you want to work with, but it's also beneficial for the algorithms now, because they're trying to categorize you. And so if one day you're talking about one thing, the next day you're talking about something else, and then you get another idea and you want to do that, and then you get another idea and you want to do that, now the algorithm doesn't really know where to place you, because especially on Instagram, it's interest, well, on the other platforms too, I would say YouTube as well. It's really interest based. So they're going to categorize you based on what are you actually consistently talking about, and where can we place you? And who can we put you in front of so that they can see you and they can connect with you, and a community and a relationship and a connection can start there. So that's why it's really important that if you don't have it clear in your mind what your message is and who specifically it's for, you're going to run into the problem of, yeah, you're not going to build traction. You're not going to build momentum, because if it's not clear for you, it's definitely not clear for us who are watching. So that's why, first of all, it's really important to know what your message is, get the right messaging, know how you want to be positioned in the marketplace, and then you can go from there. Okay, so that's first things first. Now, like like with anything, like when you're learning anything or you're starting anything, no matter what it is, if it's a skill, if it's like you're starting a new job, you're going to school, whatever it takes time to learn things, right? It takes time to learn. And so the mindset that you have to use in a situation like this, when you're just starting your journey, you're restarting your journey, or whatever it is that you have to make sure that you know this is something I'm building and it takes time. You have to get it right in your mind. You have to make that decision in your mind that it's going to take time, and to just keep your focus where your focus should be. And that should be forward. That should be on your clients. That should be on the people who are going to find your content, who are going to find your page or your account or your article, whatever it is that you're writing or doing, your videos, and they're going to see it and they're going to connect. Different platforms, you never know. Sometimes something that you did, like, I don't know, like few weeks ago, sometimes it will just catch fire for whatever reason because it just hit the right person at the right time. And then that went crazy because they shared it and then their friends shared it, and then it went around in the groups, in the WhatsApp groups or whatever it is. So if you can have the mindset of it's going to take time for me to get the momentum, to build momentum so that the right people can find me, then that's going to really help you. You have to have the mindset of grace. You have to have the mindset of peace, that it's going to take time for the right people. Now, a lot of people are like, okay, yeah, but I want to go viral. How do I go viral? And for me and the clients that I work with, it's not about going viral. People that go viral, it's because they've gone super broad and they're touching on a point that everyone can relate to. Maybe usually it's something funny and that everyone can relate to. And it's just hitting different people, your target audience, not your target audience. It's just hitting all different kinds of people. Now, what happens in that situation, and I've seen it happen a few times with people, they go viral and then all of a sudden they get an influx of followers who don't want anything to do with what they actually do or what they actually offer. So you have to think it to yourself, like, what would you rather have? Would you rather just have a big following to say that you have a big following, but nobody wants to buy from you? No one wants to work with you. No one shares your heart. No one shares your values and your perspective. No one can see where you're going and want to support that. Or would you rather have and meet and connect with people who get you, who see that you get them, and that you can build that connection? People that say, oh, wow, like this makes so much sense for what's happening in my life. And that connection is being built. I mean, I know which one I would rather have. I would rather have a community of people, of women who really are passionate, who want to do great work, who want to help people, who have a mindset of this is my calling, this is my purpose. And because it is, there's people out there that if I don't show up consistently, if I don't keep saying my message, if I don't share, they're hurting. They're hurting. We're blocking people's blessings. Our businesses, this is kind of how I see it. And this is why I say with my clients too, that my business is one of the ways that I love people, because I know that how I help people with messaging, positioning, and having them see themselves and reflect themselves back to them in a very specific way, I see how it just opens their mind, opens their heart to what is possible for them. And that's something that I know I'm here to do. I know that I'm here to tell women, to tell people that who you are is more important than what you do. Because when you know who you are, when you're walking in that solid identity, then nobody can tell you anything. No one can derail you from that purpose that you have. Because everybody's a strategist, everybody's a coach and consultant and this and in that. Like there's so many people who do what you do, but nobody does it the way that you do. So the mindset is just to give yourself grace, to just know that it's going to take time, and that if you want to reach the right people, then you just have to be consistent and believe in yourself and believe in what you're saying and believe in what you're doing, and you keep showing up. I was talking to someone recently, I was talking to a few people recently, and I'm a big proponent of whatever your strength is, use that. Walk in that strength while you're building other skills. So let's say you want to be good on video, but you know that you're a strong writer. Start with those articles, start with those blogs, start with those social media captions that are really powerful while you are still developing your skill on video, because it takes time also to develop new skills. So don't be hard on yourself, especially if you're using a medium like video or like writing and you want to get better at it. It takes time. You're going to have to put in the reps, as they say. There's different things that you can do to be more comfortable, whether you're learning to write, whether you're using audio, whether you're using video, whatever it is that your strength is, or the skill that you want to develop. There are tools, there are resources, there's coaches, there are people that can help you get better at doing what you feel called to do. So that's kind of the first part. How do you keep your spirits high? You keep your spirits high by knowing that there are people out there who need to hear what you have to say, because you are literally going to change their life. And some people might say like sometimes we feel like, oh, I want to change the world. I want to change the world. But sometimes just changing one person will change the world, because you don't know how helping that person is going to impact the ripple effect, the domino effect it has on everyone around them. Let's say like you're helping someone, let's say you're a coach and you help someone in their life, in their personal life, and now they're going to work happier, lighter, feeling more freedom, feeling more love, feeling more accepted. And now they're bringing that to work. And people at work are like, oh, hey, Nancy's, she has a little more pep in her step these days, and she's coming with more of her heart and more of her peace. And then everyone else is seeing that. And then somebody else takes that to their home. And now they're more patient with their kids. Now they're more patient with, their family, with their friends. They decide to forgive that person that they would normally get mad at. And that's how it builds. So just remember that what you carry is so unique, it's special, and there's people out there who need it. And so if we can put our ego aside and just remember, I'm doing this not just so I can get things, but I have something strong to give that is really going to change someone's life. And I don't know about you, but I think that that's so powerful when you know that your life is not just for you to get things. Your life is here to make an impact on other people, to make an impact in the community and the communities and the networks that you are a part of. When you remember that, you're going to show up differently. You're going to show up and be like, you know what? I'm going to keep going because as I'm going, I'm getting better. As I'm going, I know more people. It's going to build momentum. It's going to get traction. So you have to have that positive mindset of if I keep showing up, if I keep putting my heart out there, putting my love out there, the right people are going to find it. And if you look at the most, I would say, successful people like on paper, what did they do? When they decided, and you can read so many stories like this, but when they decided that they were just going to do what they love, and that's it. They didn't care if it made sense, if it didn't make sense to whoever. They were just going to do what they felt called to do what they had on their heart to do, even if it looked wild and crazy to everybody else. And you know what? Everything looks wild and crazy until it's not, right? Everything looks like it's impossible until you do it. So I'm here to say you have permission to do what's impossible. You have the permission to show up and make the impossible possible and give hope to somebody who needs it. So that's the mindset. And I'll just dive a little bit into the next question, which was, what does each platform require? So I don't use all of the platforms, so I'm not going to talk about Pinterest, for example. I don't really use TikTok at this moment, so I won't really talk about those. But I'll talk about LinkedIn, I'll talk about Facebook, and I'll talk about Instagram. So Instagram is a platform that has changed so much. So much. Instagram was my baby at a certain point. I loved being on Instagram. I still like being on Instagram, but it's changed a lot. So Instagram is kind of like, in some ways, it doesn't know what it is. I'll just be honest with you. Like it takes a little bit from TikTok. It took some from Snapchat. It's taken some from YouTube. It's trying to be a search engine at the same time. So there's all these algorithms. So sometimes we say, oh, the algorithm is out to get me. But we have to kind of remember too, and this is maybe some people don't know this, but it's not just one algorithm that is set up on these platforms. These platforms have many algorithms, many systems that are working together and are talking to each other and are saying, hey, this content's pretty good. What do you think? I'm not sure. What do you think, Larry? Oh, I'm going to put it in this category. So it's like there's different algorithms that are talking to each other. So when we say the algorithm, it's not exactly accurate because it's many algorithms. So Instagram is interesting because nowadays, before you could blow up really quickly on Instagram, but now because they've changed a lot of their features and they're consistently changing a lot of their features, they're trying to be a search engine, like I said, and they've partnered with Google actually so that and this is something to keep in mind with your captions and with how you speak to the keywords that you're using. So it's trying to kind of fit in a lot of different categories. It's still trying to be social media, but it's doing the most and we are suffering because we're not reaping the benefits. But for Instagram, I feel like pictures and videos do well as long as the videos are short. If you can keep your videos to, I would say, even less than a minute, that would be ideal. That would be key because the intention and the attention span on Instagram is different than on LinkedIn or YouTube, and it tends to be shorter. And people love pictures, nice pictures when you're showing up. You get a lot of engagement, but you're not necessarily getting a lot of follows from that. So the type of things that get follows are really, it has to be a mix. I would say Instagram's more of a mix. You have to kind of have stuff that's a bit educational, but you have to have a bit of fun stuff. Always, no matter the platform, you have to share your personality and you have to share your perspective and your point of view. That's the key to building a personal brand, is when you are set on what your perspective is and you share that. This is for all of the platforms. You should have a consistent presence and feel no matter which platform people get introduced to you on. So if people catch you on Facebook, if people catch you on LinkedIn, if people catch you on YouTube, or wherever they're going to find you, there has to be a consistency there. There has to be the same feel. And so sharing your perspective, sharing your heart, sharing your point of view is going to be key. Sharing what you believe, all of these things. So that's Instagram. And again, I'm not an Instagram guru. I don't know all the ins and outs, but the feel of Instagram is kind of like that. A little bit more educational, but mixed, because it has to be a little bit fun too. So that's Instagram. For Facebook, if you are in groups or if you have a group, then that is great. Facebook loves groups and Facebook loves pictures as well. I would say carousels don't do as well because of how it shows up on Facebook. It kind of becomes a bit scattered. And so when people are scrolling, they might see one of your posts in the carousel like just random, because it's not going to show it all together, where on Instagram it shows it all together, and carousels do well on Instagram too. And so on Facebook, I would say pictures and videos do the best on Facebook. And then for LinkedIn, I'm coming back on LinkedIn, and storytelling on LinkedIn is really big. If you can share more stories and you really speak from your heart and you're speaking from experience, and this sounds weird, right? Because you're thinking like, well, LinkedIn, I should be talking about my expertise and building authority that way. But it's really changing. And even the CEO of LinkedIn, he was on news recently and he talked about how what we would used to consider soft skills are really the things that people are looking for now. So and storytelling. So if you know how to tell a great story that's coming from your experience, so you're making it very personal, but then you're showing your expertise as well while you're speaking, while you're sharing this, then you're going to make an impact. Pretty pictures, no one really cares. You can put a nice picture. People, unlike Instagram, where if you put a nice picture, people are going to be like, I love your picture. But on LinkedIn, they're not going to really care about the picture so much as what you're saying. I think also they're trying to push more video. That I'm not 100% on. I don't know what length of videos, but I'm thinking probably less than 3 minutes. But if you're going to do a longer video, I would say keep the captions and the description shorter. Or if you're going to do a longer caption or description, then keep your video shorter. Don't do a long video and a long caption. I'm still testing this, so I'm not 100%, but from what I'm seeing, this is working, and this is what's working for me as well. So to recap, how do you keep your spirits high when you're either first starting, you're rebranding, you're pivoting, and you're showing up on social media with fresh content? Well, definitely give yourself grace. Know that it's going to take a while to build momentum, to see what works for you, because what works for you might not work for somebody else exactly. And definitely just keep positive. There's something called the law of sustainment. And basically the idea is that your brain won't sustain an action that you don't believe in yourself that you can do. So it's really about what you believe about yourself. Like, do you believe you can reach the right people? Do you believe that you have what it takes to build a business that you love? Do you believe in yourself that you can accomplish the things that you want to accomplish? It starts there. It starts there because then you'll be able to continue. You'll be able to go through those hard moments when you know like why you do what you do, and you remember that it's for other people and that you're here to give. You're here to give, you're here to build, you're here to create, and there should be so much joy and gratefulness and thankfulness in doing that. So if you have any podcast ideas, you want to leave a comment on this podcast and you want to share your experience or you have a question, go ahead and do that in the comments or send me an email and I would be happy to get back to you and I would be happy to consider your podcast idea. So I want to leave with what I always say. I hope that you live with heart, lead with purpose, and do both compromise free. Until next time, bye.